Hey gang, welcome to another monster movie talk from Camp Kaiju. Just wanted to let you know that we're gonna postpone King Kong, the 1933 talk, until next week because this past weekend I watched the 2014 Godzilla and boy oh boy do I want to talk about it. So I saw this movie when it first came out 7 years ago now. And while I have recently rewatched King of the Monsters, Skull Island, and of course Godzilla vs. Kong, I was really hesitant for some reason to go back to the one that started the MonsterVerse. And I think it was because in my mind, it didn't have as much Godzilla, it didn't have the creature battles, and I was like, why not? I'll put it on. No, everything I just said is wrong. Forget what you hear. The monsters are in this movie from beginning to end. I know Godzilla himself only has little screen time, but I don't know what a lot of people count as screen time, because so when he's not like in his full body image, you see him underwater, like his scales. You see him on news footage. And then when you're not seeing Godzilla himself, you're seeing the MUTOs constantly. And these MUTOs are not boring in any way. They're really interesting. Hey, maybe it's because I'm in my 30s now, but I'm really interested in the way they interact as insects, or insect-like creatures and parasites. They have this relationship, and the fact that they do give Godzilla a run for his money, I think they're cool. I have a couple other points that I really like and I want to share about the characters specifically, because I think nothing gets Godzilla fans talking more than the human characters in these movies, especially with the MonsterVerse. King of the Monsters. Humans were terrible. Godzilla vs. Kong. Not enough humans. In 2014 Godzilla, it's all humans, and here's the difference between King of the Monsters. These humans are good, and it's not just Bryan Cranston. No, I am invested in his son's emotional journey. Enough, and Ken Watanabe, it's good. And the way the director meshes those human characters with the mystery and the suspense building of Godzilla, it works, y'all. Another thing that I really like are those visuals. So this movie, I was actually feeling the suspense and the horror elements. Spoiler alert, when Godzilla first makes his first appearance in Hawaii, but he's preceded by a tsunami, that's scary. That hit me in a place that, Vincent in 2014 was not feeling. This movie, people actually died. There was a real there were real stakes involved with this film that the other MonsterVerse films do not have, and I really appreciated that this wasn't just light popcorn fare. I was actually on the edge of my seat. Anything else? Oh, so with the MUTOs themselves, just real quick, if you haven't seen the 1956 Rodan, spoiler alert, it's really good. And that also involves a pair of kaiju, a male and a female, just looking to nest. And that's what these MUTOs were doing. And I was like, I see you, Gareth Edwards. You are pulling a page from that book. I feel for the MUTO parents. Look, they just want to nest. They're just animals being animals. And unfortunately, humans, Godzilla, we're not allowing that to happen. So, just like in Rodan, my heartstrings were pulled just a little bit. It was a really nice effect. Anything I didn't like was purely nitpicky. But I'll stick to the one big thing at the end. The end itself struck just a total wrong chord for me, and it's going back to the fact that these creatures are animals, which I really like that the MonsterVerse treats them that way. that they're driven by instinct. They're only destroying cities because they're hungry, or they're looking for a mate, or they're being territorial. However, at the end of this movie, Godzilla is definitely portrayed as like a savior. And I'm like, no, he was just being an animal. There's no reason for the humans to think that, oh, Godzilla was saving us. No, for all intents and purposes, he was destroying the city as much as the MUTOs. So that like last period to the movie just kind of struck a wrong note with me. And then for a couple campy things, the fact that the MUTO brought a Russian sub and just dumped it on a rainforest, that was fun. And seeing a MUTO in Las Vegas was really fun. Because so often in these movies, you see Tokyo, you might see New York, you might see San Francisco. But to see a kaiju in a desert metropolitan area, that was a lot of fun too. So anyways, this is Camp Kaiju. Those are my thoughts on Godzilla 2014. Next week we'll do King Kong 1933. And until then, stay campy.